not done. So to be honest, what really happened is we were like, we're gonna show the movie, and the studio was like, no, you're gonna show 20 minutes. So we're like, no, we're gonna show the movie. And they're like, it's not done. And I was like, shoot. They were like, if everything's not perfect and it's not done, and what if we're gonna change things? I was like, oh.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, once among Hollywood's most celebrated power couples, are now seeing their careers unravel. They are facing a massive $400 million lawsuit, with a federal court recently issuing a ruling that did not go in their favor. The situation is looking grim for them. Blake's troubles appear to be self-inflicted. She heavily promoted It Ends With Us, the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel, as a lighthearted, feel-good movie.
I literally brought the movie with me on the airplane. I have a folder with a disc, a hard drive.
Only for fans to react with outrage. When they realized the story revolves around domestic violence, critics slammed her for being tone-deaf, yet she continued using the promotional tour to advertise her personal brands, including a hair care line, an alcohol business, and a denim company. Now, she and director Justin Baldoni are embroiled in 2 lawsuits that could permanently damage their careers. Blake has taken legal action against Justin, accusing him of fostering a toxic work environment and subjecting her to misconduct on set. She also claims that he and his production company, Wayfarer, orchestrated a smear campaign to destroy her reputation. According to her, things escalated when the New York Times published a damaging article about her, which she believes was strategically planted by Justin. On the other hand, Justin is in full defense mode, arguing that the article cost him everything: his job, his talent agency, WME, podcast deals, and future film projects. His career now hangs by a thread due to Blake's allegations. His legal team is fighting back aggressively, and with both sides locked in a fierce legal battle, this could become one of Hollywood's ugliest showdowns. Blake is suing Justin for $250 million, alleging he has systematically tried to ruin her career. But Justin refutes the claims, asserting that he never defamed or harmed her. Instead, he argues that Blake and Ryan Reynolds are attempting to seize full control of It Ends With Us and its highly anticipated sequel, It Starts With Us, by ousting his company from the project. If true, this case isn't just about personal reputations, it's about money, power, and industry dominance. As tensions rise, Blake has pushed for a gag order, accusing Justin's high-profile attorney, Brian Friedman, of publicly smearing her. However, Friedman fired back, claiming Blake herself leaked confidential legal documents to the New York Times, leading to an article that severely damaged.
I woke up at 4:30 this morning. My son's had the flu. I'm not feeling great. My heart was racing. I'm noticing that, I'm having some anxiety and just haven't given myself the time to heal.
From Justin's career. He insists that the fallout was catastrophic, causing Justin to lose his agent, podcast, and business deals overnight. Public opinion is sharply divided. Blake's supporters argue that no woman should have to endure a toxic work environment, while Justin's allies claim he is being unfairly targeted. The legal fight is becoming more explosive by the day, and with mounting evidence against Blake, her future in Hollywood is uncertain. To make matters worse, Justin's lawyer has now launched a website featuring key lawsuit documents, including videos, emails, texts, and legal filings. The evidence allegedly shows that Blake manipulated misconduct allegations against both Justin and his co-producer, Jimmy Heath, to gain control of the film. The lawsuit even claims that whenever Blake didn't get her way, her accusations escalated, creating a disturbing pattern. Shockingly, Blake herself admitted that any alleged misconduct stopped after filming resumed in 2024. Now, she's blaming Justin for the backlash she received after mishandling the film's domestic violence themes in her promotions. As the case unfolds, the stakes continue to rise, and the battle for Hollywood supremacy shows no signs of slowing down. Blake Lively made tone-deaf comments about It Ends With Us, but now she's trying to shift the blame onto Justin Baldoni. However, the evidence tells a different story. In federal court today, things didn't go in her favor. Her legal team pushed hard for a gag order, arguing that Justin's attorney, Brian Friedman, was fueling a smear campaign by publicly releasing evidence. But getting a gag order in federal court is nearly impossible since legal records are public, and the judge denied the request. Despite this setback, neither side is backing down. Reports indicate that both legal teams engaged in an intense courtroom battle, passionately defending their clients. With millions of dollars at stake, this legal war is far from over, and the truth is only becoming messier. The damage to Justin's career has been devastating, far worse than what Blake is facing. While she's dealing with public backlash, she might still have a shot at working in Hollywood. Or maybe not. This lawsuit could mark the end of her career. As the industry watches closely, today's court hearing was intense. Federal judges don't play around, and both sides came in swinging. Friedman didn't hold back, claiming that Blake's alleged collusion with the New York Times cost Justin hundreds of millions of dollars. He argued that she painted Justin as the villain while conveniently omitting key details. To make matters worse for Blake, Friedman's team has presented a growing pile of evidence. Videos, interviews, text messages, and even podcast recordings that directly contradict her claims. One of the most damaging revelations, Blake herself admitted in multiple interviews that she took control of It Ends With Us, including editing, writing, wardrobe, and marketing, essentially taking over responsibilities that belonged to Justin and Wayfarer Productions. It wasn't just involvement, she ran the show. These statements, straight from her own mouth, undermine her case. Despite this, Blake is still trying to silence Justin's team. Her lawyers once again pushed for a gag order, claiming Friedman's public release of evidence was hurting her case. But Judge Louis Lyman wasn't buying it. He flat out denied the request, reminding Friedman to follow federal civil rules, but imposing no restrictions on Justin's legal team. In short, Blake didn't get what she wanted. As more evidence emerges, defending Blake's case is becoming increasingly difficult. The receipts are stacking up, and the latest ruling means Justin's team can keep revealing more details. With Hollywood watching closely, if the tide continues to turn, Blake may be the one left with nothing when this is all over. No gag order, no special treatment, and no escape from the fallout. Despite Blake Lively's legal team making a desperate attempt to silence Ryan Friedman and Justin Baldoni, Judge Louis Lyman shut it down. However, the court issued a warning. If tensions continue to escalate, the trial could be moved up from March 2026 to an even earlier date. This means Blake and Justin might be facing off in court much sooner than expected. Then came another bombshell. Blake Lively does not want to be deposed by Ryan Friedman. Her lawyers, led by Michael Gottlieb, argued that she doesn't feel comfortable being questioned by an attorney she claims has defamed her. But the reality is, Blake wants control over every aspect of this case, even trying to dictate who gets to question her in court. That's not how legal proceedings work, especially at this level. While it's possible to request a different attorney, demanding that the judge intervene to shield her from a deposition is next-level entitlement. Unsurprisingly, the judge rejected her request. He reminded Blake's legal team that she is both a plaintiff in one lawsuit and a defendant in another, meaning Justin's legal team has every right to question her. Friedman will be conducting the deposition, no exceptions. This was a major blow for Blake, proving that she can't manipulate the legal system to her advantage. Some observers see this as a David versus Goliath battle, with Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Hollywood, powerhouses, trying to crush a smaller, independent production company. And here's the kicker. There are women on Justin's side too, making serious counterclaims against Blake. This case isn't about automatically believing one side, it's about evidence, accountability, and an increasingly intense courtroom battle. And the evidence against Blake is piling up fast. She openly admitted on a podcast that she took over the production of It Ends With Us, despite never being hired for that role. Her official job was to act, with a vanity title as an executive. Producer, meaning her behind-the-scenes authority was supposed to be minimal. But did she stick to her role? Absolutely not. Justin and Wayfarer Productions claim she hijacked the entire production, and she's on record confirming it. Blake rewrote scenes that were already finalized, took control of the wardrobe, even though the original costumes were already purchased, and caused the wardrobe budget to skyrocket by $500,000 just to bring in her own stylist. She even replaced the composer and editors, one of whom had never worked on a film before, with their biggest credit being a Taylor Swift music video. And then came the biggest shock: Blake allegedly stole an early cut of the film and screened it at Colleen Hoover's Book Bonanza. She took unfinished footage from a film she wasn't in charge of and presented it as her own, without permission. In Hollywood, this is a major violation. Leaking or screening an unfinished film can ruin its distribution, lead to piracy, and destroy box office sales. Both Sony and Wayfair told her not to do it. But Blake? She ignored them all. And now, as the lawsuits pile up, the court is no longer buying into her narrative. Every new revelation makes her case look weaker. Hollywood is watching closely, and if this downward spiral continues, Blake Lively could be facing not just legal losses, but the end of her career. The situation surrounding It Ends With Us keeps getting messier. Justin Baldoni wasn't even allowed to fully participate in his own film's premiere. Instead of walking the red carpet, he was relegated to the basement, removed from promotional events, and forced to leave before Blake Lively even arrived. He was also completely excluded from the press tour. If that's not a calculated move to sideline him, what is? But perhaps the most damning evidence is the attempted apology statement. When Blake's questionable marketing choices backfired, she didn't take responsibility. Instead, she and Ryan Reynolds allegedly tried to force Justin, Jamie Heath, and Wayfarer Productions to take the blame. Court filings reveal that on August 12, 2024, Blake and Ryan drafted a statement on Justin's behalf, attempting to make him admit fault. It read, "It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which we take full accountability for." In other words, they wanted Justin and his team to shoulder the blame for the backlash she created. This wasn't about damage control, it was a manipulation tactic. And the truth is, the backlash wasn't some orchestrated smear campaign. It was the public's natural reaction to Blake's own missteps. Instead of addressing the serious themes of domestic violence in the film, she spent the promotional tour focusing on her alcohol brand, hair care line, and fashion ventures. When public criticism followed, she tried to rewrite history. The full apology statement gets even more shocking. It included lines like, "Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, and the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way, and any negativity aimed at them is ours to own." Essentially, Justin was expected to absorb all the blame, while Blake played the victim. The statement continued, claiming that everyone had mutually agreed to promote the film separately. But that's not what happened. Blake and Ryan made sure Justin was pushed out of press events, banned from the red carpet, and sidelined entirely. Yet, they still wanted him to take responsibility for their PR disaster. And it doesn't stop there. Legal documents suggest that by October, Blake was already working with the New York Times on a full-scale smear campaign against Justin. The goal? Ensure that he took the fall, no matter what. When Justin and Wayfarer refused to sell the movie rights or bow to pressure, Blake and Ryan allegedly launched a lawsuit, likely as a preemptive strike before Justin could take legal action against them. But now, everything is unraveling. The evidence against Justin is crumbling, and Blake's carefully crafted narrative is falling apart. Hollywood is watching, the public is watching. And after today's intense court hearing, Justin Baldoni just walked away with a major win. What happens next? Will this be the downfall of Blake and Ryan's Hollywood reign? Will Justin come out on top? One thing's for sure, this legal battle is far from over, and the truth is getting harder to ignore.